What's happening, y'all? Here we go. Just getting off work. I don't know how long this is going to be because it's been kind of sprinkling out here. But I figured I could do a quick trip. I was gonna drive my car around here, and I said I can't do that because that defeats the purpose of the reason why I wanted to do this. Not just go to, I love how it looks, not just going to the park to be outside, but the walk, the actual walk is what is needed. And been talking or just trying to get back into this whole thing of astral projecting. And I don't know how many of you are familiar with it, have done it. One of the things that really helps is being out in nature and also really learning how to meditate. Really learning how to meditate. Keeping yourself in a meditative state where you're allowing your body to relax. What is this? Oh, y'all. I want to pick it. Isn't that pretty? But I'm so afraid of touching anything out here. It's a bunch of them, though. These flowers are pretty. So, I'll hit the trail. And as y'all can see, it really is not that far, that long of a walk to come around the corner to come down here. It's really not. Find another spot to sit. It's gotta be stable. Let me sit here. I'm trying not to put my hand over the camera. But, alright, look at the little fall. Let me see if I can get it. That's what y'all are hearing. Little rocks. Am I hitting it? And the water's coming down. I'm not even sure if y'all can see it. But that's where y'all are hearing that sound. Water's flowing down this way. Anyway, yeah, just allowing yourself to be in a place where you're quiet, you're meditating. And when I say meditate, it's not anything complicated. It's just being still, being quiet, being aware of the thoughts that come into your mind, but not judging them, and letting them pass. You know what I'm saying? Just allowing yourself to be and feeling, looking at yourself in a third person, detaching, and not seeing yourself as being the body, because we're not the body. The body is not us. The body is just a vehicle. We're bigger than that, and so it's really looking at who you are as just pure consciousness. I remember when it first happened with me, as far as just being and the projecting. I used to go outside every day, and I remember this summer that, oh my gosh, it almost felt magical. I used to have this particular spot behind the school, but across the railroad tracks of where I used to stay in New York, behind my elementary school, Beecher School. And I'd be back there, and it was near this creek, and I would lay out literally on my back, and it was so open, and I would just watch the clouds in whatever formation that they took. If it was clear, I would just be looking into the sky, and I would just relax. Like, I wasn't thinking really of anything. I was just there being. And I remember how animals, squirrels would come up to me, birds would come up to me, and I just felt like I was one with nature. And when it happened initially, I remember how and it's so different now, because when it comes to the distractions, we have like our cell phones, we're always watching TV, and if we're not watching TV or listening to the radio, our phones is what is the main distraction. We didn't have all that stuff back in the day, so I was also not going against my circadian rhythm. So when the sun was going down, I was already inside. I remember we used to have to eat early, so my body felt light. I was eating a lot of fruit and drinking a whole lot of water. We weren't allowed to drink a lot of juice and sodas. Back then, sodas was on special occasions. So I can't really say for anybody how much of a part diet plays in your ability to be able to astral project and astral travel. But for me, I felt like this was kind of like a bit of a turning point for me. But I remember how I wanted to be a vegetarian that year, that summer. And when I would go to sleep, I was going to sleep in all darkness. I did not have any distractions, so it's not like I just watched TV before going to sleep. Probably like a good hour or so beforehand, because again, we weren't allowed to watch TV all day like that. It got cut off at a certain time, so I didn't have any distractions, I guess, going on in my mind that would have prevented me from allowing it to happen. And so it was, I don't know, I guess it's kind of like a weird feeling, because I kind of remember too how when I would lay there, I would just be waiting for sleep to come and happen. And I don't know if anybody knows how that feels. Like, you just lay there and you're just like, I remember kind of saying to myself, like, come on, I'm ready, come on, like, telling sleep to come. And then my body just starts to get heavy. And I remember when it initially happened, I really wasn't even aware of what was going on. I remember sitting up, turning around, seeing myself lying there, turning back around, and laying down. The second time that it happened, my body came up, out, my etheric body came out, and it turned over, and I was floating over top of my body, and I seen my body, like I'm just laying there sleeping, and I turned back over, back in my body. The third time it happened, I don't even recall how I was already outside of my body, but I remember being outside of my body in my room, seeing the street light coming through my window, and then thinking about being at my grandmother's house, and then boom, just being there. Having the experience of seeing her doing something, not even realizing what was going on, and then vanishing, like the next day being there. I hadn't learned how to control it yet. I mean, because it was in the very, very early stages of it happening. And I remember confronting my grandmother the next day and asking her what was she doing. She was doing some stuff. And she got upset and asked me, how did I know? Who told her? And don't be telling anybody her business of what she was doing. She scared the bejesus out of me. But I remember how after that it would happen a lot, where if I slept a certain way and I would lay on my back, I would be in pure darkness, I would feel my body get heavy, almost this vibration. My body would get heavy, and then it would just kind of like separate. And I would just go off. Wherever I thought to go, I would go there. And once I got indoctrinated with the church, I was, told that a lot of this stuff was not right, that it was evil. My cousin Carolyn at the time, who was married to my cousin Teddy, she was telling me about her experiences, and that kind of scared me, where she was super religious and she was saying how this stuff is not what we're supposed to be doing. And I remember this book that came out called, what was it? I can see the cover of, the image on the cover, cybernetics or something like that, but it talked about astral projecting. And at the time, me and my oldest son's father were talking about it a lot, about how we were having these experiences. Like I told him how I was having these experiences, and that's when we had the conversation with my cousin. And she was saying how she learned how to do it, where she would sit in a room, she locked the door, she left, but she followed the person that went to the store that was at the house, and the person knew that they were being followed because she was seeing them, she said, out of the eyes of a bird or something like that. And when that person got back to the house, she got back, she, came to, and they told her, I know you were following me, but that's dangerous, like, don't do it. So a lot of what she was saying kind of scared me out of it and put me in a place where I thought that I was doing something against God, that it was evil. And so I would force myself to not have it happen by sleeping in other positions where I knew it was going to be a little bit more challenging for my etheric body to come out. Some people, they can do it, and their etheric body can come out no matter what way that they're, sleeping, sitting, whatever. Now I'm trying to get back into doing it and practicing the way that I was before, because I know more, I see things differently, and there's just some things that I want to do and things that I want to see. And as I have my experiences, I will be, like I said, sharing them with you guys. But I'm very curious to know, like, for anybody that is familiar and has astral projecting, astral traveling experiences, what has your experience been? How long have you been doing it? And what has been the easiest way for it to happen with you? Because honestly, it can be a little challenging if you're not used to doing it, and then it can be easy. Everybody has like all these different techniques of how to do things, but I feel like it's just different for everyone. You know what I'm saying? I can say you can do X, Y, Z, but that's what works for me. It might not work for you. Is my mic even on? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I'm about to go because I do need to get some rest. But I wanted to just come down here again. I'm going to put my hands in this water, continuing to manifest. And I should take some of this red brick. But really just continuing to manifest. And I want to put my hand in the water over here where it's streaming down. Okay, y'all. Touching the water with both of my hands because I like that. There's some pretty rocks over here. If my daughter could see me right now, because I know she used to love collecting rocks, and it's so crazy because the same thing that my daughter would do when she was younger, collecting rocks, I used to do, and I used to get on her about it. And I'm like, yeah, I actually remember how I used to collect a lot of rocks and stuff like that. She's like, but you used to take all my rocks and all my stuff. I know. And I remember how I used to do the same thing. But my mom didn't find a whole bunch of rocks all around my bedroom. But let's gather our own things from nature and use them. It almost reminds me of, and it's starting to rain, so it almost reminds me of tiger's eye. Look, here's my tiger's eye. You can see what it looks like. Kind of almost the same color as my tiger's eye. But we get around here. This is the reason why I was thinking of taking my car in case it started raining. But again, it's still not that far. But I don't want my phone to get messed up. So I can't walk and talk at the same time, y'all. That's a damn shame. I'm getting out of breath. But I'm glad I did go down. So again, share your experiences, or if you have the desire to want to learn how to do it, because I feel like if you are capable of lucid dreaming, you're like one step away from being able to do it. Oh, it's coming down. All right, y'all. I'm out. Be well.